Hello, this is JG and this is podcast Unicall, Codependency No More.
Oh yeah. Welcome everybody. This is JG and this is podcast number 12. Podcast number 12 has to do with the difference between pity and compassion. Have you ever thought about the difference between these two words, compassion and pity? So basically, I want you to understand what lies behind the pity you feel for the narcissist. It is common for many people to confuse the feeling of pity with compassion, especially when it's dealing with individuals who exhibit narcissistic traits. This confusion can lead to painful consequences, particularly when the person in question uses that pity as a tool for emotional manipulation. In this podcast, we will explore why you might feel pity for a narcissist and, more importantly, why you should not nurture this feeling. But before we continue, why don't you subscribe to the channel in order to strengthen this channel? Hit the little bell over there to get notifications all the time and spread the news. Here we go. The difference between pity and compassion is firstly what it makes a big difference. First, it is crucial to understand the difference between pity and compassion. When we feel pity for someone, it is common to believe that this person is weak and incapable of overcoming their difficulties. That's exactly where we feel more, believe it or not what I'm going to say, but we feel superior to that person. And this feeling, though often unintentional, carries an undertone of superiority, as I said previously, as if the person feeling pity is in a more capable position. It's very strategical. Why? Because the narcissist will pretend to be that old lady selling apples to this beautiful and young lady just, running away from an evil queen, and she's lonely in the house. There is nobody there, but she's selling apples, beautiful apples. So in case of the narcissist, this pity can be extremely harmful. Even though the narcissist's mask of arrogance and superiority sometimes slips, revealing insecurities and fears, the truth is that the narcissist is fully capable of helping themselves. Yes, they do. They just don't want to. Instead, they seek your pity to divert your attention from your own projects to get you distracted. You're going to be distracting yourself with your hobbies and relationships and draining your time and energy to satisfy their emotional needs. Well, what are the dangers of feeling pity for the narcissist? Well, behind the narcissist's ability to alternate, to take turns between arrogant and vulnerable behavior, lies in a well-crafted tactic of manipulation. This duality can make you feel confused, at times repelled by the narcissist, and at other times feeling pity for them. It is in this confusion that the cycle of emotional abuse is strengthened, because that's where gaslight happens. That's where cognitive dissonance happens. This is one of the ways that they find to implement or to implant, if I can use that word, this kind of duality that sometimes you feel okay, sometimes you feel guilty. And often victims justify their feelings of pity with arguments like, oh, the narcissist had an abusive childhood, or they act this way because of a personality disorder. They suffered a lot when they were kids. Well, it is true that many narcissists may have experienced trauma. This does not justify the abused behavior they perpetuate in adulthood. There's a treatment for that. It's really hard for them to get treated. Narcissists are fully aware of their actions, so bear that in your mind, in your heart. Make this thing a mantra. Write it down on a big piece of paper and glue it to your refrigerator, or make a big poster and hang from your above your bed. Narcissists are fully aware of their actions, and their manipulations are deliberate choices, not unavoidable consequences of an unchangeable mental condition. So, one step ahead that you can take is to understand the narcissist. Understanding the roots of narcissistic behavior is important, especially to prevent children from repeating these destructive patterns in the future. However, this understanding should not turn into an excuse to put up with abuse. The narcissist, unlike a sick person seeking treatment, is not interested in changing. Believe it or not. You can find lots of psychologists around saying, yes, there's a treatment. You can take them to a rehab, or you can take them to a clinic. They're going to be helped. Believe it or not, they're not really interested in changing. They prefer to manipulate those around them to get what they want because it's easier. It's way easier to get what they want instead of changing. Because what are they going to take in exchange if they change? All right. When you pity a narcissist and put their life above your own, you are in fact accepting the abuse. Conflicting feelings of guilt and pity allow the cycle of abuse to continue even after the relationship ends. It is quite essential to recognize that the narcissist's abuse behavior is intentional and that they will not change because they are comfortable with their position of power. Believe it or not, it's all about power. It's like a politician. You know a politician? Yes. You know a politician, he has one term, and then he does a particularly not very good job, but the propaganda is okay. He won't be satisfied and say, okay, I've done my part. I help communities, so it's time for me to move on and to find a lot of things and stuff. I'm going to support another candidate. No, they want to continue in power. Why? Because there is a certain number of there are a lot of advantages going on, and they don't want to, as we say here in Brazil, they don't want to leave the bone behind. I don't know if you understand this kind of expression, because it's pretty much Brazilian when we say that a dog, when a dog has a big bone, the T-bone, try to catch the bone. The dog is going to gnarl at you, is going to bark at you. It's exactly what they do. But the question is how to break the cycle of pity and abuse. Well, you've got to sit down now, take a deep breath, take that very slowly sip to your tea, take a deep breath and listen up. If you truly want to help a narcissist, the best thing you can do is stop providing the emotional supply they seek. Instead of feeling pity, focus on compassion, but a compassion that recognizes the other's capabilities and does not see them as helpless. Put that in your mind. Set that in your heart. They're not helpless people. More importantly, it is essential that you take care of yourself. Focus on your life goals and stop investing your energy in someone who is never interested in changing. And remember, the narcissist thrives on the unhappiness of others because it's a way that they use in order to not feel miserable. They manipulate, isolate, and continue with their lives while yours may remain stagnant. And if you don't break this cycle, the good news is that by sharing knowledge and information about narcissistic personality disorder, you help weaken the manipulative power of these individuals. Okay, we hear a lot of people saying, "Well, come on, don't come up with all this bullshit again. I don't want to talk about this narcissistic thing because the world is narcissist. There are narcissists everywhere." But I got to tell you something. Bear that in your mind and your heart. Feeling pity for a narcissist is not just useless. It is harmful. It is dangerous. It feeds a cycle of abuse that only harms you. The best way to break free from this cycle is to understand the true nature of the narcissist. Differentiate pity from compassion. It's rule number one to understand how to break the cycle. and focus on your own growth and well-being. By doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also contribute to weakening the impact these personalities can have on others' lives, especially your offspring. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about your children, the children of your children, and the future generations. And that's how we weaken the narcissism, the pathological narcissism in the family. Well, this is the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn a little bell on to get the notifications, and also comment. It's important to get your comment. If you want to share your experience here, feel free to say whatever you want, because I believe in freedom of speech. If you want to give me a thumbs up, if you want to give me thumbs down, if you want to criticize me, curse me, or bless me, whatever. This is a country. I'm podcasting from Brazil, but I believe that many Americans can profit from the podcast, I hope. Sorry about my English. I'm not a native speaker. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.